Namaste, Susie here. Welcome to SM Yoga and Yoga Pause video number 5. So we're continuing with some of the work from number 4, which will be for the lower body. So legs, hips, feet. There's really too much to fit into one video, so I'm splitting it into these two. You will need a chair. We're going to use probably the back of the chair for balance and for some things, and later on we'll sit in the chair. You might also find you need a little bit of a different height than maybe the back of the chair. So you could always use a table or a countertop or something else around your home when we get to different parts of the practice today. You might also need at the end yoga blocks or something similar in height that you would have on the floor. You might or might not need those, but we'll see when we get there. So as before, in number 4, we're going to start with some pliés to just warm up the legs a little bit. So you could do 4 and 5 together, or you could just do this one. It's really up to you. You could intersperse a lot of yoga pauses throughout your day so that you, can finish your work day without feeling too tight or stiff. So for our pliés to begin with, you're going to have your feet wide apart, maybe even wider than the chair, standing behind the chair. So we're just using the back of the chair here for balance. Oh, and I have a blanket because I might want to pad this later. So you might need something like that as well. Depends on what your chair is like. But for now, we're just using it for balance. So feet wide apart, bend the knees and just check to make sure that your knees are tracking out over the same line as your feet, so same angle. And then we'll just do a few. So I'm going to inhale as we go down. Just go down to a medium amount at first, medium depth, and then exhale, zipping up. So squeezing the glutes, zipping up the lower belly, maybe lifting the pelvic floor a little bit, and then release all of that as you inhale back down. Try to keep the back straight, upper body just going straight up and down. Exhale up. Inhale, exhale, a little squeeze up. You can maybe go deeper each time if that feels right for you. Inhale, exhale up. Inhale, exhale up. Let's do one more, a little bit deeper if that is available to you. Inhale, exhale up. Good. Keeping your hands where they are. Bring your feet first about hip width apart underneath you, and then walk the feet back to come to your standing downward facing dog. So depending on how high this is, depending on your size, you might not be coming to an exact L shape, but it's somewhere along those lines. If you have a kitchen sink handy, you can hook your fingers down in the sink and then really let the weight fall back. Otherwise, you're just going to stay and breathe here, letting the spine lengthen out behind you. If you need to bend your knees, you can always bend the knees a little bit, maybe trying to straighten them out slightly. As you stay for another breath or so, and then slowly coming up, walk the feet forward, and we'll come to a standing upward facing dog. Now, so the feet are a little bit back from the back of your chair or whatever prop you're using. And now we're going to let the pelvis fall forward and push down with your hands to lengthen up and slightly arching back. Maybe the face turns up towards the ceiling. Just a gentle opening for the front of the body. Good. Now, this is when I need a little something to pad here because it's a little bit hard. We're going to put our foot up on something, okay? So you could use the seat of your chair. You could turn the chair around and use the seat if that's a better height for you. You could use this. If you need to go higher, you use your countertop. I'm going to say don't go for the highest possible height because in all these short practices. We're not ever going to try to go to our absolute extreme edge because I'm assuming that you've been sitting for a while, not being very active, so that means you're not maybe really warmed up a lot, and it might be too much to go to, what you can do after you've been stretching out for like an hour. So don't go too extreme. We're going to face towards the chair or whatever prop you're using and just put the right leg up. So the foot is flexed and everything is square towards the chair. This might be enough of a stretch, just doing this. You want to start to open up the hamstring here, the glute on this side. If you feel like you can go a little bit further into it, you're going to inhale, standing up nice and tall. Think of the standing leg being nice and strong as well. And then exhale, fold towards your top leg. Maybe the hands can come onto your prop. They don't have to. Just taking a couple breaths, reaching forward. Try to keep the back as long and straight as possible. Now, take your left hand and cross it over. If you can reach the foot, you can come to the outside edge of that foot. Maybe you just bring it to the outside of the leg anywhere and just come up a little bit and twist towards the side of the top leg. So depending on where your hand is, don't lose your balance. You might be angled a little bit forward going into your twist. Good. Facing forward again. Now we're going to turn out the standing foot. Okay, so now we're standing with this right leg going out sideways. Again, this might be a lot of a stretch already for you. You don't have to go anywhere. You can just stay here and breathe for a few breaths. Or if you'd like to try, you're going to take the left arm up, big inhale, and then exhale, side bend over towards the right. Taking a couple breaths there. Inhale up, and then we're going to switch sides. Yes, we're going to switch sides now. Okay, so take that foot off, face towards the chair again, and left leg up. Everything square towards that chair. Again, this might be a lot. You could have your foot on something lower if you need. Whatever is right for you. You're going to stand up nice and tall, strong through the standing leg. Big inhale, and then if it's appropriate for you, maybe exhale, folding forward any amount. Couple breaths. Take the right hand and cross it over to the outside edge of the foot or the leg. Again, I'm losing my balance. And then twisting towards that top leg. Good. Coming up, turn out that standing foot. Checking out, how does it feel? Maybe this is enough, you can stay here, or if you want to go towards that side, inhale the right arm up, and then exhale, side bend over, any amount. Good, inhale up, and then leg down. So now we're going to sit in the chair, and if you have blocks or something, kind of similar in height, and have that in front of you. You might or might not need it in a moment. So we're going to do a little more for the hips right now. So cross your right ankle on top of your left knee. Since we're sitting in a chair, we don't have to try to balance. We can bring the bottom foot in a little bit towards the center. And now we're just going to fold forward any amount. So keeping this foot flexed, meaning the toes are pulling up towards the shin, the knee is falling out to the side. Just hook your fingers in front of that shin and pull yourself forward, keeping the back straight. Maybe this is as far as you go. If you want to go a little bit further, continue going. No pressure. You just want to feel that hip opening up. This hand can lightly, gently press down on the knee. If you have the block in front of you or blocks. I forgot to do my other one, so I only have one. You can maybe reach down for the block like so. Couple more breaths. And then coming up, now we're going to go to the foot for a little bit. So take the foot and let the ankle come a little bit to the outside of the bottom leg. So it's a little freed up now. And we're just going to work with the foot a little bit. So we're just going to take the hand to the top of the foot and pull the foot into a pointed position. And you can probably pull it farther than you could get your foot to point if you're just trying to point your toes, right? You can really even curl the toes a little bit. So stretching out the top of the foot. We don't often do that, so especially if you're sitting a lot, the foot is always flexed up. This is gonna get your foot going in a different direction, so it might feel nice. And then I like to just go up and down a little bit with the foot. You can really do anything here that feels good. You can take the foot around in circles, loosen up the ankle. If you're like me, you're going to take this opportunity, why not, to give yourself a little foot massage. Really just, really can't go wrong. Anything that's going to feel good. Sometimes, it feels good to really dig into the heel, maybe the ball of the foot, maybe just massage along the arch, maybe pull the toes out of the sockets a little bit. I like to do that, so I feel like my toes get scrunched up a lot, so pull them nice and long, really anything that feels good. Then you're going to take your right hand to the sole of that foot, sitting up tall, just twist away. So the foot is resisting into the hand a little bit here. Inhale, face forward, and then we'll switch sides. So, left ankle on top of the right knee. The right foot can come in a little bit towards the center. One hand here, gently pressing down. And first we're just folding forward over that leg. This foot is staying flexed up at this point. Don't be surprised if one side is quite different than the other. It's very normal. So just go to where you feel you can fold forward, keeping the back straight. You don't want to start to round forward at this point. Just let it stay straight, and if you only go a couple inches, that's fine. Again, this hand is maybe gently pressing down on the knee. Good. And then come back up, and we'll do our same little work with the foot here. So let the foot go a little bit more over to the right side so the ankle is freed up underneath here. And then the same thing, first pulling the foot into a pointed position, really getting those toes to curl, stretching out the top of the foot. You can even feel it at the front of the ankle here, right? And then same thing as on the other side. Anything that comes to mind that you would like to do to loosen up the ankle, the foot, both, whatever. And then also maybe that extra little foot massage anywhere that strikes your fancy. Pull the toes out long. And then we'll come to our twist on this side. So the foot comes back to that flex position for a moment as you put the left hand to the sole of the foot, sitting up tall. The foot is resisting into the hand as you twist around. Good. And now uncross that ankle. And last thing, we're going to finish up with kind of a seated happy baby. Okay, so again, this is when you might have some kind of prop in front of you. Sit a little bit further back in your chair and get the feet wide apart. So if you're familiar with happy baby that we do lying on the back, it's the same idea, different orientation to gravity. So now we don't have to pull on the feet with our hands. The feet are naturally going to stay in the right position, meaning the soles of the feet are going to stay planted onto the floor. And then you're going to fold forward, letting the head go. And for this one, once you've come down quite a bit, it's okay to actually round the back a little bit here, because you're going to try to drop your head down. And you can have your hands on top of your feet. That could be like kind of the prop for your hands. Or if you need to, if that's not comfortable, your hands aren't coming to the feet easily, you can always just put your hands on a prop like so, or two props, whatever you have. If you can fold over a little bit more, maybe you can come down like so. Either way, you're going to come down to a point where you can really just let go. My head isn't not really going to come to that, so I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to let the head go and maybe shake out the head, yes and no. Right here. Letting the upper body come down in between the legs. Bring the hands around behind the legs too if you want. So this is our last pose for this practice. You can stay there for a while, as long as you want. And then when you come up to sit again, you can bring the legs together and just take a couple moments, maybe closing the eyes, taking a couple more nice big breaths before you return to your work day or whatever else you have to do for the rest of the day. Thank you so much for joining me for Yoga Pause number 5. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe. And number 6 will be coming soon. It's going to kind of come full circle and coming back with some work for the hands, arms, and the breath, and kind of like a shavasana or relaxation at the end to complete the whole cycle of the yoga pauses. Namaste.